Welcome to the BattleGround to Breaking Ground program overview. We are a grant funded project and we are partnered with several different agencies to help provide the support, technical assistance, etc. for the participants of the program. So we're going to go into the breakdown of the program with the different courses and programming that we have available. Any of our courses, participants will receive a certificate of completion at the end of them. Those can be used potentially to show the time spent with a mentor learning how to farm and ranch. So, our first course that we're going to cover a little bit is the Introduction to Agricultural Business. This is an online course, it is self paced. You have up to a year to finish the course once you enroll in it. And in this, we're taking a look at the different agencies, the types of technical assistance they can provide, types of programs that they have, and if they have a potential funding that you're able to access. We also go through a little bit of a discussion of some real business ideas, maybe to help start that brainstorming if you're looking at getting started, and then touch a little bit on basics of business planning. Um, that's kind of it in a nutshell. The nice thing about this course is as you go through it, it'll help expand your knowledge of what's available to help you. That's probably the biggest thing we find is folks don't know who they can turn to when they run into issues as they're starting on this adventure. So, our next programming that we have available is a 5-day in person workshop that is held in College Station. We hold two of these a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. Uh, this is known as the Introduction to Agricultural Production Boot Camp. And in the 5 days while we're there at College Station, we will have a variety of in person presentations and we will go out on several farm tours to different farms and ranches around the area. So, what we're taking a look at is generally covering farm and food safety, business planning and business management, diversification and marketing strategies, financial and risk management, and then we'll take a look at agricultural rehabilitation and vocational training opportunities for veterans and others. Well, we're taking a look at land management conservation practices, and this includes natural resource management. And we're taking a look at basic vegetable, row crop, and livestock production. Most of our farm tours will be addressing those three areas and may pull in some of the other topics that are being discussed. And then alternative and value added agricultural enterprises. So now we're getting into the real meat and potatoes of the programming. And we have our training program. We have three different tracks for it. All of it covers the same content. Um, our first one here is our BattleGround to Breaking Ground traditional program. This is set to cover 44 weeks. Um, the biggest thing on the differences between them is the length of the course themselves. Well, we started out originally at a year long. A lot of people are like, hey, this takes too long. And we kind of figured out how long it's taken them to go through the program. And so we kind of developed two tracks. The 44-week one is our longer version of it. And this is taken into account for those that have full-time jobs and or families that they are having to deal with. And so it just stretches out a little bit more for everybody to be able to get the coursework and the hands-on learning mentoring that they need to get done and be able to have time to get it done without taking away from work and or family life and without causing a lot of undue stress due to time crunch. Um, and in it, he'll develop a complete agricultural business plan with 13 weeks of business planning. That's usually at the beginning of the course. And then through this, you should be working towards developing a technical assistance team. And that just consists of some of your local agencies that may provide you that technical assistance when you run into issues that you're not sure how to handle. You'll complete your online agricultural production courses, focusing primarily on the enterprise area that you plan on starting with or that you are currently doing. And there's a one on one mentoring. You get to choose your mentor. We do have certified mentors for you to choose from, but we do not have mentors everywhere. So we realize that it may be more advantageous to you to find a mentor in your local area. Uh, with that mentorship, there's 100 hours of hands on training that's required. And the biggest thing we find with this is that by doing the hands on training, it's helping to emphasize the material and content that you went through as you went through the actual online portion of the course. We do have a community of practice Facebook group. Uh, this is where all of our graduates are members of. And so if you've got a technical question, a lot of times you can reach out into that community practice group and you may find an answer to it or find a way that somebody else has done something or approached handling a situation that may help you out in the long run. And then we have an individual education plan. So we do go through and we monitor your progress through the course. There's weekly assignments. The week starts on Monday, and then the following Monday is when that week's assignments are due, and you'll start the next week's assignments. We try to keep them into small bite sizes. Uh, Generally, each week's coursework should take approximately 8 to 10 hours. We do realize that it may, for some, they may be able to get it done faster than that, and for others, it may take just a wee bit longer. But the average is usually 8 to 10 hours of online work coursework. Um, and we'll get into this a little bit more, but you see up here you can apply for a tuition waiver or you can pay the $1,000 tuition. We'll cover that a little bit later in this presentation. So, again, talked about primary program. This is the 27-week version of that. Same exact content in here. We find that some of the folks that maybe it's a spouse and they don't have to work or stay at home, take care of the family, and so they have time to take the course. Or somebody that maybe, yeah, they've got the 40-hour work week, but they know that they've got their weekends free. They're not tied up with other stuff. And so they're able to get it done a little bit faster. This course for the condensed version, we typically offer that in the spring. The traditional we offer in the fall. So if you're thinking about it, those are some things to think about. Same content, same methods of getting through the course. Again, you can apply for tuition waiver, pay the $1,000 tuition, which will be covered here a little bit later. And then the other version of this, it is developed for our active duty military that are in their last 180 days of transitioning out from the military. Um, it is 13 weeks long, so it has condensed all of the information that's in our regular program down into 13 weeks. And part of that is because while these guys are out here going through the program, this is essentially their place of duty. So we have them for 5 days of the week. So we're able to take what normally is spread out over that 27 to 44 weeks and put it into 13 weeks for these guys to be able to get done. Um, the only additional caveat on this is that rather than 100 hours of hands on learning, these guys will go through 300 plus hours of hands on training. And these guys are assigned to a farm for the duration of their time in the skills training program. Normally, one caveat on this is for the ones going through the skills training program, we try to look at the enterprise area for the individual and marry them up with a mentor that is doing similar or the same type of enterprise areas. And for that one, they just have to get with us to find out the information, make sure their dates align with them for the time when they can actually participate in the Skill Bridge program, and then we'll send them the application link for this. And out of this, as we've developed over time, we've developed a mentor training program. It is open to all of our prior graduates of the regular program and our skills training program. This program currently is 10 weeks in length, and you'll go through some basic mentoring techniques. Um, you'll become trained and become a certified mentor for the BattleGround Breaking Ground program. You learn to establish successful mentee relationships and to be able to work with the folks through the different things that they may have going on as they're trying to navigate through the program. And this is a paid opportunity for Battleground graduates, as we do pay stipends to those that are mentoring current participants. And again, this is one of those we'll send out notifications when a new course is coming up, and then send out the applications for those folks that are interested. All right, so the basic requirements for the Battleground or Breaking Ground course, and this applies pretty much to all of them because we have a online component to all of our courses. So we need reliable internet access, be able to spend approximately 8 to 10 hours per week on coursework over the duration of the course. For the traditional program, it's 44 weeks. For the condensed program, it's 27 weeks. If you're going through the skills training program, that's 13 weeks. For the mentor training program, that's 10 weeks. The online Introduction to Agricultural Business is self-paced, and it's 5 days for the in-person workshop. Uh, we highly recommend participating in the community practice calls, monthly IEP calls, and any additional required meetings. Um, we don't schedule a ton of them, but when we do schedule them, it's usually to help address areas within the course, to provide some additional resources and ability to ask questions of some of the experts in the areas that are being covered in the course at the time. Complete all assignments, and when you finish with the program, you should be able to develop a business plan that you'll be able to take out and use. And you'll complete online production courses focusing on the areas that your enterprises are. Submit all course evaluations. One of the things about being a grant funded program is that we have some basic surveys that we have to do to be able to provide information back to the grant providers. And that's to help us with being able to receive additional funding in the future. It helps provide some additional information about who we're serving, were we successful in being able to provide the training and knowledge to you that we said that we were going to, and those kinds of things. So definitely make sure you're submitting all course evaluations. You complete 100 hours of hands-on education with a mentor. And if there are things going on, because we know life events happen, make sure you're communicating with all instructors, staff, other participants, and program partners about that, and be respectful when you're doing that, and be professional about it. We know not everybody sees eye to eye, but in that, you can still be respectful in the discussions with them. Keep it to the topic of interest at the time, and then go on about your business. Too simple. Uh, the other thing is, at the end of all of this, become a successful farmer rancher, and then help mentor future program participants. All right, so here's the options for accessing the Battleground and Breaking Ground courses. So for tuition paid options, you have the online course, Introduction to Agricultural Business. It is a $30 course, and you'll go through AgriLife Learn to register for that. The in person 5 day workshop, the Introduction to Agricultural Production Boot Camp, is $125. And when we get in closer to our start date for those in the spring or in the fall, we will typically go about 8 to 12 weeks out and open up registration for that. If you're following us on our newsletter or on our Facebook pages, you should see that come out when those course the workshop is open for registration. Our next two, which are hybrid courses, which means they have an online component and an in-person component, is the traditional program or the condensed program. Those, if you're paying the tuition for that, is $1,000, and that is on AgriLife Register or on AgriLife Fern. Sorry. Tuition waived participants. This for the traditional program or condensed program. Rather than paying the $1,000 tuition, you can apply for a tuition waiver. We have a course set up for handling that so that we can make sure that you have completed all the pieces of the application. That course does cost $10. There are 12 slots per cohort for tuition waiver, and that tuition waiver is the $1,000 cost of the online portion of the course. There's 8 slots that we reserve for military, active duty, veterans, and then there's 4 for other beginning farmer ranchers. And then the other thing about it, if you receive a tuition waiver, you are required to attend the in-person basic training that's held at the beginning of the or at the start of the program. That's 3 days. It's in College Station, and that costs 125. So different ways that you can reach out and connect with us. We have our website. We have a newsletter that you can sign up for. And then we have a couple of Facebook groups up there that we manage. And we'll post out information on those. You can also check our events calendar as we typically post any of our workshops and whatnot on there. And for more information, you can always email us at texasagribility@ag.tamu.edu.